liftoff. Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem. Our O2 and with two tankers. Are you sure to get that?
The actual phrase was, Houston, we've had a problem. And a documentary on Netflix is about NASA's third mission to the moon in 1970. The goal of the flight changed after an explosion, and the objective simply became getting the three astronauts home alive.
The film Apollo 13 Survival includes original footage and interviews with the astronauts' families and also the NASA crew. The film's director, Peter Middleton, joins us now. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being with us. So I wanted, when you look at what happened with Apollo 13 and what the astronauts said afterward, I think Jim Lovell said something along the lines of that. It was a successful failure, primarily because of the way that they were able to get back safely. What was the immediate reaction right after, though? Was this more like, hey, this is way too dangerous to go back up again, or was it amazement at how the NASA crew was able to get them back safely?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did sort of describe it as a successful failure. I think that was a sort of interpretation of the mission that took roots over successive years, I think. Initially, I guess the Apollo machinery was moving at such a clip in the late 1960s and throughout the 1970s that they didn't really miss a beat. Apollo 14 was up before the end of the year, I think it was, in 1970. So they had a program in place that allowed things to keep moving. But it did tie in, I suppose, around the time of a slight recalibration, a rethinking of what they were hoping to achieve of going to the moon. And it was a short time after Apollo 13 returned home that the latter Apollo flights, I think 18 and 19, were cancelled. So yeah, it did sort of indicate a slight change in mood, I think, at NASA. And of course, we've not been back to the moon since 1972. Yeah.
So you've obtained some film from that time that the public had not seen. Is it that NASA didn't want the public to see it? Is there something in there that you said, wow, I can't believe they shot this?
I mean, NASA throughout the Apollo era, and indeed throughout much of the 1960s, created this incredible archive of material. They were pretty much strapping cameras to everything. It was very much part of the propaganda campaign to justify the extraordinary expense, I suppose, of the Apollo missions to put humans on the moon. And so there has always been this trove of incredible material sitting in the vaults that's housed in the incredible National Archives in America. It's just accessing that, understanding where to look, that has often been the challenge for filmmakers, and indeed, people looking to tell any story about the Apollo program, the Apollo era. We were very fortunate in our instance, and one of the genesis of the project really was an incredible project by some people involved in a project called Apollo in Real Time, and they had digested and untangled about 7,000 hours worth of audio recorded at Mission Control during the 6 days of the Apollo mission. And so that was really the first time that anyone had really had access to that, to fully appreciate and comprehend the ins and outs of the mission.
Peter, I was reading that that families were having trouble getting life insurance, the astronauts' families, because of how dangerous these missions were. If you could put a perspective after looking at the footage, we know them as space cowboys, but the amount of bravery and perseverance that took to get to that point of launching a mission like Apollo 13.
Yeah, extraordinarily dangerous. But all of the astronauts at the time, throughout the 60s and the Apollo astronauts of the 70s, I mean, they were mostly test pilots.
Yeah.
They didn't all have military backgrounds. Some of them had come from commercial enterprise, but I suppose they were used to those kind of risks. But it was an experimental program. No one really knew the effects of on the human body of going out to the moon. Indeed, Jim Lovell, commander of Apollo 13, was on Apollo 8 in December 1968, the first ever voyage out to orbit the moon and back. And there's a story that his commander on that flight, Frank Borman, that someone at NASA told Frank Borman's wife that they had a 50% chance of returning home alive. So that kind of puts it in perspective. I don't know if that quite held up, or that was the opinion of everybody, but I think it indicates just how dangerous and how risky a proposition it was to go to the moon at that time.
All right, Apollo 13 Survival is streaming on Netflix. Thank you for joining us, Peter.
Thank you.